Something huge is happening in the world of finance. We're watching an ancient precious metal go head-to-head with the world's most powerful currency. And honestly, this could fundamentally change how we all think about money. So, let's just jump right in.
Okay, first, just take a look at this number, $5,055.15. Now imagine a not-so-distant future, maybe February 2026, where this is the price for a single ounce of gold. This isn't just a market fluctuation. We're talking about a new all-time high, a number that would have Wall Street and world governments scrambling.
So, that brings us to the big question, right? What on earth is driving this kind of historic surge? Is this just a temporary bit of market craziness? Or are we actually witnessing a deep, fundamental shift in the global financial system? To get to the bottom of this, we're going to break it down into 5 key pieces. First, the rally itself. Then, this inverse relationship between gold and the dollar. We'll look at why the dollar is under so much pressure, why central banks are buying up gold like crazy, and finally, what it all says about a global shift in trust.
All right, first up, let's unpack this incredible rally. Because, this isn't just a random blip on the screen. It's a powerful trend that's been building for a while now, really fueled by this perfect storm of economic and geopolitical forces. You can really see how the momentum built up over time. It kicked off back in 2024, when investors started pouring back into gold funds for the first time in years. Then, by early 2025, new U.S. tariffs sent the price flying past $2,800. And now, you mix in all the market uncertainty and global tensions, and boom, it soared past $5,000.
Next, we've got to talk about a really fundamental concept here, this inverse relationship between gold and the U.S. dollar. Just think of them like a financial seesaw. When one goes down, the other almost always goes up. And this is a major clue in this whole mystery. So here's the core difference. Gold is a tangible asset, right? You can hold it. There's a limited supply of it on the planet. And for thousands of years, it's been seen as a reliable store of value. The dollar, on the other hand, is a fiat currency. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying its value isn't backed by something physical, but by the trust we have in the U.S. government and its economy. So what happens when that trust starts to get a little shaky? Well, investors often run for the perceived safety of gold. And that is the perfect segue. Why is that stability, that trust in the dollar, wavering right now? Well, the dollar is facing what you could only call a perfect storm of challenges, coming from both inside the U.S. and from abroad.
This comment I saw online from just a regular retail investor, it really captures the mood out there. There's this widespread feeling that years and years of governments creating more and more money, especially after the financial crisis and the pandemic, are finally coming back to bite and devaluing the currency we all use.
And look, this isn't just a feeling. It's backed by a whole host of factors. We're talking rising U.S. budget deficits, the Fed aggressively cutting interest rates, nagging fears about inflation, geopolitical tensions heating up, volatility on Wall Street, and just general political uncertainty at home. Any one of these is a problem. All of them together, that's a massive force pushing down on the dollar.
But here's where the story gets really, really fascinating. It's not just individuals who are getting nervous. The big whales of the financial world, we're talking about central banks, are making huge, strategic moves into gold. This is a game changer. This quote from The Guardian just frames the whole situation perfectly. We're moving beyond simple market jitters here. We're talking about a growing belief that the dollar's role as the fundamental anchor of the entire global economy is becoming, well, less reliable.
And a huge catalyst for this shift is this concept people are calling the weaponization of the dollar. See, when the U.S. uses its financial system to impose crippling sanctions, like it did against Russia's central bank, it sends a powerful message to every other nation. Your dollar assets aren't entirely safe from American foreign policy.
And the result is crystal clear. Just look at this chart. The share of gold in central bank reserves has literally doubled in the last 10 years. It's now a quarter of their holdings. This is a multi-trillion-dollar strategic pivot away from the dollar and toward the physical security of gold. So this has led to a really clear 3-step playbook for these countries. First, you deliberately diversify away from the dollar. Second, you use that cash to buy up physical gold bullion. And third, and this is a crucial step, you bring that gold home. You repatriate it from vaults in London and New York back to your own country. Nations like China, Poland, India, they are all doing this to make sure their assets are under their own control. So this brings us to the big finale.
We're going to connect all these dots, because when you put the market rally, the dollar's weakness, and this central bank buying spree all together, a much, much bigger picture starts to emerge.
So here it is, the key takeaway. The soaring price of gold, that's just a symptom. It's not the actual disease. The real story here is a deep and growing loss of confidence in the US-led global financial system. That system, which has kept things relatively stable for decades, is now visibly eroding.
This table just sums it all up perfectly. A decade ago, the dollar made up about 2/3 of all global reserves. Today, that's down to 57%. Its perception has gone from being the unquestioned safe haven to having its credibility openly questioned. And in today's world of global discord, there's no other currency ready to take over, so gold is kind of shining by default.
And that leaves us with this one massive question. Is this all just a temporary, albeit chaotic, market correction? Or are we actually witnessing the very beginning of a new financial order, a historic realignment toward a world with multiple power centers, and maybe with gold right back at its heart? The answer to that is going to shape the global economy for decades to come.